Cortland Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report on the 14th day of January in the year of our Lord 2018. And we are having a special edition here at the CS Racing Report. And we're going to talk about the debate for Horse of the Year for 2018. Number one, it's of course between Accelerate, a 5-time Grade 1 winner in 2018, 4 at the mile and a quarter distance, including the Breeders' Cup Classic, and Triple Crown winner Justify, who of course broke and bucked a lot of trends by becoming the first undefeated Triple Crown winner, or the first Triple Crown winner as an unraced 2-year-old to win the prestigious trilogy, and joined Seattle Slew as the second horse to sweep the Triple Crown as an undefeated racehorse. And of course, he became the 13th Triple Crown winner overall, and the second in 4 years behind Bob Baffert's American Pharoah. Baffert, of course, is the trainer of Justify as well, becoming the second trainer behind Sonny Fitzsimmons to win 2 Triple Crowns. But there's been a raging debate over Justify and the legitimacy of his Triple Crown. People have bandied about when Catholic Boy won the Travers Stakes, as if he won the Breeders' Cup Classic, he could unseat a Triple Crown winner. Some of the historical perspective or lack thereof, the delusional kind of mentality and viewpoints of people. And granted, this is a country where it's a right to work country, and at the same time, people have the right to state their views, but unfortunately, people are misinformed and really don't know the facts. And let's just break down what the facts are. A lot of this has been generated, this campaign to unseat a Triple Crown winner from being Horse of the Year. It's been generated and fueled by emotion more than fact. And that's what the problem is here. Let the smoke screen clear and get the emotions out of your head, and let the cool wind of reason blow in. And once you see the facts, you'll see why you should be able to make a more informed decision as to who should be Horse of the Year. Now, some people aren't going to change their minds no matter what's being said here at the CS Racing Report, but I'm telling you right now, Accelerate won 5 Grade 1s. 4 of those in California. Now, I'm not one of those purists that believes that California racing and their top graded stakes races are inferior to that of what's going on the East Coast. Over the years, if anything else, West Coast racing has been as good or better than anything on the East Coast. It's really more based on the individual merits of a horse. And we've seen horses from the West Coast come on the East Coast and do damage. So that's not the issue here. But in 2018, something not necessarily unusual happened, not something that's uncommon, but in 2018 specifically, the horses were inherently from top to bottom weak. I don't think the Hall of Fame is opening their doors for horses like Pavel and Dr. Door and Prime Attraction and the like. Accelerate is in the same position as Justify. As people say that Justify didn't beat anyone, well, to be quite honest with you, both horses took advantage of running against weak opposition. And again, we're going to basically, break this down into the sum of its parts. The problem with Accelerate's case, even though he was very impressive in winning those races, he did what a good racehorse should do. A good racehorse, when running against weak opposition, should do what Accelerate did, and that's basically dominate and destroy the opposition. That's exactly what he did in his Grade 1 wins, winning the Santa Anita Handicap by 5.5, the Gold Cup at Santa Anita by 4.25, winning the Pacific Classic by 12.5. He wasn't as good in the Awesome again, winning only by 2.25 in a time of 150.38 against West Coast when he was making his return off a 6-month layoff after running second in the Dubai Cup. And then he won the Breeders' Cup Classic in 202.93. And as I said in the podcast, in the post Classic podcast, these horses, it looked like a bunch of tired horses. And to be honest with you, Accelerate won what was, for all intent and purposes, a war of attrition. So even though he has manufactured or put together a Horse of the Year campaign in any other year, I would have, and a lot of journalists would have, no problem naming him Horse of the Year. But here's the problem. When a horse wins the Triple Crown, every single other division and what's being done is basically moot. And that might not be fair, but, Triple Crown winners are generally named Horse of the Year. The scenario that's getting ready or could unfold of Accelerate being Horse of the Year over a Triple Crown winner, sort of is a little bit juxtaposed and a little backwards. Does it seem a little bit odd that that would happen versus Charismatic, a horse who didn't win the Triple Crown, broke down trying in the Belmont Stakes, was retired, had a nice resume, no one could mount the rally, and it could be argued there weren't any horses, even Victory Gallop himself, that did not have quite the campaign from top to bottom from the beginning to the end of the year that Accelerate did. But, Charismatic was named Horse of the Year because of the feel-good story. Some are surprised that Smarty Jones didn't get it after being retired, after, winning the Derby and Preakness and valiantly losing the Triple Crown at the Shadow of the Wire to Birdstone and the Belmont.